All right, guys, let's do a little journey through one of my favorite places in all of Thailand. We're gonna go to Thailand's first capital city, or what's left of it anyway. We're gonna go to Sukhothai Historical Park, which is the ruins of the old capital of Thailand. So let me show you around. This place is great. All right, I'm really excited about taking a look. Right, so Sukhothai was the Thai capital in the 13th and the 14th century. It was the first Thai capital. So anyway, inside Sukhothai, this Sukhothai is basically like a rectangle. So it's about 2 kilometers by 1.6 kilometers. That's the main part of Sukhothai inside the rectangle. Now, the outside of the rectangle is the city wall, and there was a gate of the 4 cardinal directions. And we'll go try to check out some of the city wall later on. But it's so old in this, after they fled in the 13th, 14th century, this whole area was abandoned. And the majority of the structures were built out of wood. The only thing really that's still standing are mostly the temples, because they built them out of stone. So after it was abandoned, the jungle encroached and took over. All the wooden structures rotted away and are gone. And so what we see left is basically some of the temples like this. And in Thai, they call a temple Wat. So this is Wat Mai, and you can see the piers or the pillars that supported the roof. And then you'll see the chetties, and we'll go around and we'll explore some more. But the architecture here is what they call the Sukhothai style. The Buddhas that you'll see will be the Sukhothai style. You'll see the elongated ears and the face structure that shows it as the Sukhothai style, along with the way they build their chetties out of the lotus bud. And it's really a cool style. So let's go and take a look. So you can walk up on the ruins here in Sukhothai. Mostly, there's a few that they don't let you. But if you can imagine this would have had a roof over it. People would have been coming in to make merit, do their praying. The monks would be about doing what they do, providing the blessings and everything. Maybe raking up leaves or sweeping them, doing whatever. Now the piers, you can see the internal structure of it. You can see how it was built with a rock, and then they put a stucco over the top of it. So this would have probably been like a brilliant white, which would have been quite amazing. It would have been a nice visual here in the jungle. There'd have probably been a Buddha image over there, and the main Buddha would have probably been right up here. You can see how the old stucco is over the top of the brick. And the pedestal here. Then you can see a couple of the other bases, the rectangular bases over there for the other chetties that would have been surrounding this temple. And there would have probably been houses, businesses, some little farms or whatever would have been all around in this area. So here's a little statue and a little shrine for King Ramkhamhaeng. Now, he's very, very important in Thai history. He was what they called Ramkhamhaeng, I believe Ramkhamhaeng the Powerful. He's the one that united all of the surrounding city-states into a unified kingdom of Sukhothai. He's also credited for writing down the Thai language that in its early form, but they found, whenever they were excavating the ruins here, they found a stone that this is a replica of, but it has the writing on it, and it talks about the story of it, and it's the origins of the written Thai language. Now, under Ramkhamhaeng, Sukhothai flourished, and it expanded its borders to all the neighboring city-states and was very, very powerful. and that's whenever they're at their height. And whenever he died, his son took over, and then things started falling apart. A lot of the city-states around here declared their independence, and Sukhothai lost its prominence. So inside the former city walls, covers an area about 72 acres, I believe. And there's something like 29 different little temples inside here, or the ruins. But you're greeted with views like this. I mean, how awesome is that view? So you have all this water here, you can see the fish jumping, and you have a temple right across the lake with the Buddha statue in a reclining, or the seated position. You see that chetty with the Buddha, and another lotus bud style chetty over there. Just beautiful. What I like about this place is has so many trees, and it's kind of spread out, you know, over such a large area, and it really feels like you're here by yourself. I mean, there's a few other visitors here, but you know, you're just walking around, you hear the birds, you hear a little bit of traffic, but mostly you just get to enjoy the ruins. Here's another temple. This one they say is built in the Ayuthaya style. And you can see some of the other ruins around. Now the lilies, early in the morning if you come, probably the best two times is early in the morning or in an early evening time. Early in the morning you get the benefit of seeing all these lilies that'll be bloomed out. So this temple is Wat Chanya Songkran. And again, these are the surviving piers or pillars for the roof of the temple itself. And the lotus bud chetty is fantastic. They built them on a rectangular base, and they'll be facing off in the 4 cardinal directions. So you can see how it would have been stuccoed over the brick. And it's quite amazing when you think about how old this is. I mean, this is 13th century when they settled and they built all of this stuff. So it's roughly about the same era. If anybody's been to Mesa Verde or places like that, it's about the same time frame. So you think that in Mesa Verde they were building cliff dwellings, while here at Sukhothai they were building massive temples, and this was a sprawling city. And all these trees would have probably been gone. There would be just buildings and people everywhere. Rice paddies outside of the city walls. And it's kind of whenever you think about it. So, you know, 700-800 years ago, there were people here growing rice. 500 years ago, there were people here growing rice. Today, you go outside the city walls and there's people here growing rice. So this is Wat Saha Siri. Now there's a bit of influence in this temple from the island of Sri Lanka. The religions from Sri Lanka and Thailand are the same. So you see the influence in the construction and the Buddha statue here. Now, prior to 1978, there was actually a road that went right through the middle of this temple. And it was just destroying everything. So they changed it up, and now that road goes further off outside of the fence that you can see over on the other side of the temple. But it's amazing. It just, you have this amazing historical site, and there was a road just going right down through here for cars and tuk-tuks and everything else to go through. But that's the new road over there. And again, it was the brick structure with stucco over the top. I mean, that is pretty cool. And over on the other side, you have a bridge that goes over there to another part of the temple. And you see some more of the ruins over there. Just a truly beautiful place. Another temple surrounded by some little moat. Would be breathtaking early in the morning with all these lilies bloomed out. So this is pretty interesting how they reclaimed a lot of these ruins. Now remember, this was all abandoned, so there was nothing but jungle all around here. So in the early 20th century, they came here and they started reclaiming a lot of this. And then in 1975, this was all declared a World Heritage Site. Looks a lot different than it does from then to now. From then to now. So this is what they found at this temple right here, Wat Mahatat. And that's what it looks like from then to what it looks like right now. This is a spectacular temple building here. So a side view of Wat Mahatat. Kind of the crown jewel temple of this whole complex. Okay, so this is Wat Sukhothai. This is one of the coolest temples in here. And it's said that King Rama VI came here whenever they were excavating the ruins of Sukhothai from the jungle, and he found some stuff that had to do with Hinduism. So this temple is believed to be a Hindu temple prior to being converted into a Buddhist temple. And you can see it from kind of the chetties there. Of course, you can see the pillars are used to support the rest of the temple complex. And the Buddhas have been removed from here. You can see a little bit of it still on the center chetty. There's a Buddha image that's still there. All the rest of them are all gone. You can see the outlines of a few of them. But this is really, really cool. So if you could imagine, this pedestal right here probably had the main Buddha right here. And you'd have people that would come and they would make merit here in the central hall. So you probably, 700 years ago would have came in here. The style of clothes would have been quite a bit different, but people would be here, incense would be burning, monks would be chanting. All these walls would be stucco and would be just beautiful. So if you spent your day out on a farm, toiling away, growing some rice or whatever your crop was. So outside of the central hall right here. And each of the 3 chetties has a little opening. And they probably put like some significant artifacts down in here. That would have been like the especially religious place for them. You can see the stonework there with the Naga and the other religious figures that are carved in. All up to the top there. That's the home with some birds. Now this area here, Sukhothai, was all part of the Khmer Empire. And if anybody's ever been to Angkor Wat, which was the main area of the Khmer Empire in Cambodia, you can see a lot of the similarities in this temple, Wat Siswai, and the temple complex there at Angkor Wat. Because Angkor Wat was Hindu at one time before it was converted into being a Buddhist temple. Now in this area, this was all part of the Khmer Empire, and it was a Khmer outpost, which was like Suda Had or something like that. And the Thai people, the Thai Luau, which kind of came down from China, they started pushing into the upper Chao Phraya River basin. And there was the Khmer here, so there was a little bit of cultural conflict. And they think around like 1180 is when like the revolts started, but it was really like the mid 13th century whenever this was revolted against from the Khmer and declared its independence. So this was changed its name to Sukhothai, and it became the seat of the first capital of Thailand. So the crown jewel of Sukhothai is this temple here, Wat Mahahat. There's a few of the surviving Buddhas. Now I believe the main Buddha was removed whenever they moved the capital from Sukhothai down to Ayuthaya. I think they moved it down to Ayuthaya, and then that has since been moved to Bangkok. So I'll have to go and do a video someday of the temple in Bangkok where the main Buddha statue has been moved to. Now it's interesting, you always see Buddha statues. They look different all around the world wherever you go. But during Buddha's life and after he died, they never depicted Buddha in real life. They depicted him with a symbol of like the banyan tree or a wheel or something like that, but they never did any real depictions of Buddha himself. You can see the monkeys, the elephants. All this is around the base of the center of this. And this temple, they don't allow you to climb up on it like some of the other ones. And this was all, after Sukhothai was abandoned, this all became jungle till like about 1917, I think, is when they started reclaiming this from the jungle. Now, Sukhothai itself, the word means dawn of happiness. That's where it gets its name. I guess maybe the dawn being like the dawn of the day, and happiness, or the start of the Thai kingdom. Maybe that's how they came up with Sukhothai, I don't know. So these would have been a chetty here, a chetty here, all along. And these would all held like really significant items. Maybe the ashes of a king or a prominent person. Some really significant artifacts would have been in each one of these. And all the Buddhas are facing the rising sun. So in the morning, the sun will be rising right over in this direction, and all the Buddhas will be facing it. With their standing Buddha. Let's get there a little closer to that one. Oh, but we got one here. Now you can see the Sukhothai influence with the extended earlobes, the nose, and then they also have the hair where it's kind of like rolled into like a little cone. That's part of the Sukhothai style. And then it's sitting in the hard lotus position here. All right, so here's the standing Buddha. And if you think about the sight this would have had when you came in here, all of this would have been covered, and it would have been just right here. And he's standing with his hand outstretched. That's, I think, the warding off, like, aggression stance. And then the fingers are extended. And all of this would have been covered here. That's right next to the main part of the temple. And at the base of the temple, surrounded by all these little Buddha statues, or Buddha images. I think there's like 110 of them or something like that around here. Now it's just the rough brick, but this would have been all stucco. As you can see, the center part still has some of the stucco intact. On the other side is another one of the standing Buddhas. And you can see all the Buddha images around the base of the pedestal here. And some more of the stonework up there. So the second standing Buddha, it doesn't have the hand outstretched. In the warding off aggression stance, it's just standing. Really amazing that it's still in the shape that it's in. Some more of the temple complex. And that chetty in the background, still in fantastic shape. Another Buddha out here. And what you see from around inside here. So how cool is that? Definitely the highlight of any trip to come and see something like this. So this is what you see at the temple facing east. Let's have the Buddha in the hard lotus position. And that's right in front of the main temple complex, with the two standing Buddhas, one on each side. And then the smaller Chetties over here. Yeah, this would have really been a sight to see in its day. In the central courtyard. And the other standing Buddha. And then the surroundings of it all here. So that sound means it's time for the Thai national anthem to play. So any public place like this, they'll play the national anthem at 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening, and everybody will stop and listen to the music. All right, guys, that completes our little tour of Sukhothai Historical Park. Hopefully you enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun for me. This is by far one of the better places to go in Thailand. Right now there's nobody here, so you walk around through these temples that are 700-800 years old. Nobody's around hardly. There's a few tourists, but not very many. So you kind of feel like you have all of this history to yourself. So anyway, guys, if you enjoyed it, make sure you give me a like, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends. If you want to see something else, leave me a comment and I'll get back with you. If you want to see another temple of something, just let me know and I'll do my best to make it happen. All right, guys, and remember, life is a journey, so enjoy.